A Gest of Robyn Hode, the first Fytte, 1–81, by Frank Sidgwick, Rebus huius Roberti gestis tota Britannia in cantibus utitur, major. The text. There are 7 texts of the gest, to be distinguished as follows. I. Begins. Here beginneth a Gest of Robyn Hode, an undated printed fragment preserved with other early pieces in a volume in the Advocates' Library, Edinburgh. It was reprinted in 1827 by David Laing, who then supposed it to be from the press of Chepman and Myllar, Edinburgh printers of the early 16th century, but he afterwards had reason to doubt this opinion. It is now attributed to Jan van Doesborch, a printer from Antwerp. The extent of this fragment is indicated below. Internal evidence, collected by Child, E. 40, shows it to be an older text than E. Here beginneth a Lytell Gest of Robyn Hode. So runs the title page. At the head of the poem are added the words, and his meyne equals meinie, company, and of the proude Sheryfe of Notyngham. The colophon runs, Explycit. King Edwarde and Robyn Hode and Lytell Johan Enprented at London in Fleet Street at the Signa of the Sown by Wynkyn de Worde. This, also is undated, and Child says it may be anywhere from 1492 to 1534. Recent bibliographical research shows that Wynkyn de Worde moved to Fleet Street at the end of the year 1500, which gives the downward limit, and as the printer died in 1584, the Lytell Gest must be placed between those dates. 1. The text is complete save for 2 lines, 7.1 and 339.1, which have also dropped from the other early texts. The only known copy is in the Cambridge University Library. E.IV. And verses, 3 mutilated printed fragments, containing about 35, 70, and 15 stanzas respectively, preserved amongst the Douce fragments in the Bodleian, the last presented by J. O. Halliwell Phillips. The first was lent to Ritson in or before 1790 by Farmer, who thought it to be Rastel's printing. In Ritson's second edition, 1836, he says he gave it to Douce, and states without reason that it is of de Worde's printing, probably in 1489. V. A Merry Gest of Robyn Hode, etc. A quarto preserved in the British Museum, not dated, but printed at London Vipon the 3 Crane Wharf by William Copeland, who printed there about 1560. This edition also contains a new play for to be played in May games, very plaisante and full of pastime. V. A Merry Wyest of Robyn Hode, etc., printed at London for Edward White. No date, but perhaps the Pastoral Pleasant Comedy, entered to White in the Stationers' Registers, May 14, 1594. There is a copy of this in the Bodleian, and another was in the Huth Library. The text here given is mainly the Wynkyn de Worde text, except where the earlier Edinburgh fragment is available. The stanzas which the latter preserves are here numbered 1. -83.3, 113.4 to 124.1, 127.4 to 133.2, 136.4 to 208.3, and 314.2 to 349.3, omitting 2.2, 3 and 7.1. A few variations are recorded in the footnotes, it being unnecessary in the present edition to do more than refer to Child's laborious collation of all the above texts. The spelling of the old texts is retained with very few exceptions. The reason for this is that although the original texts were printed in the 16th century, the language is of the 15th, and a number of Middle English forms remain. These are pointed out by Child, E. 40, and elaborately classified by W. H. Clausen, The Gest of Robyn Hode, 4–5. A possible alternative was to treat the gest on the plan adopted for 15th-century texts by E. K. Chambers and the present editor in Early English Lyrics, 1907. But in that book the editors were mostly concerned with texts printed from manuscript, whereas here there is good reason to suspect the existence of a text or texts previous to those now available. For the sounded I have mostly followed Child. The Gest is not a single ballad, but a conglomeration of several, forming a short epic. Ballads representing its component parts are not now extant, although on the other hand there are later ballads founded on certain episodes in the geste. The compiler availed himself of incidents from other traditional sources, but he produced a singularly original tale. The word geste, now almost obsolete, is derived through Old French from the Latin gesta, deeds, or exploits. But as the word was particularly applied to exploits as narrated or recited, there came into use a secondary meaning, that of a story or romantic tale in verse, or a metrical chronicle. The latter meaning is doubtless intended in the title of the Gest of Robyn Hode. A further corruption may be noticed even in the titles of the later texts as given above. Copeland adds the word merry, which 30 years later causes White to print a merry geste. I have kept the original divisions of the story into 8 fyttes, but it falls more naturally into 3 main sections, in each of which a complete story is narrated. These may he distinguished thus: 1. Robin Hood and the Knight. Fyttes first, second, and fourth. 2. Robin Hood, Little John, and the Sheryfe of Notyngham. Fyttes third, fifth, and sixth. 3. Robin Hood and King Edward. Fyttes seventh and eighth. An argument and general notes are prefixed to each fytte. Footnote 1. Mr. Charles Sale puts it before 1,519 feet in his Catalogue of the Early Printed Books in the University Library. A Gest of Robyn Hode, the first fytte, 1–81. Argument. Robin Hood refuses to dine until he finds some guest to provide money for his entertainment. He sends Little John and all his men to bring in any earl, baron, abbot, or knight, to dine with him. They find a knight, and feast him beneath the greenwood tree. But when Robin demands payment, the knight turns out to be in sorry plight, for he has sold all his goods to save his son. On the security of Our Lady, Robin lends him £400, and gives him a livery, a horse, a palfrey, boots, spurs, etc., and Little John as squire. Robin's unwillingness to dine until he has a guest appears to be a parody of King Arthur's custom of refusing dinner until he has had an adventure. See Child, I. 257. Note. The offer of the Virgin as security for a loan is apparently derived from a well-known miracle of Mary, in which a Christian, wishing to borrow money of a Jew, takes him to a church and makes him lay his hand on a statue of the Virgin and Child, praying that, if he fails to return the money on the day fixed to the lender, but gives it to the statue, Christ will return it to the Jew. This miracle eventually takes place, but is attributed rather to the Virgin than to her son. See Child, E. 52. The first Fytte 1. Lithe and Listine, gentlemen, that be of Freebore blode. I shall you telephone of a gode yeoman, his name was Robyn Hode. 2. Robin was a proude outlaw, whiles he walked on grounde. So certes an outlaw as he was one was never non-wy founde. 3. Robin stode in Burnsdale, and lenned hym to a tray, and by him stode Lytell John, a gode yeoman was he. 4. And also dyd gode Scarlock, and much, the miller's son, there was none ynch of his body but it was worth a grome. 5. Then bespake Lytell John all unto Robyn Hode, Maester, and ye wald dine betime it wald do you mochi gode. 6. Then bespake hym gode Robin, to dine have I no lust, till that I have Psalm bold baron, or Psalm uncouth jest. 7. That may pay for the best, or some knight or Psalm squille that dwelleth here by west. 8. A gode mainer than had Robin, in Londa where that he were, every day or he wold dine 3 messes wald he here. 9. The one in the worship of the Fader, and another of the Holy Ghost, the thirdie was of our dear Lady that he loved all their most. 10. Robin loved our dear Lady, for doubt of didely sin, wald he never do company harm that any woman was in. 11. My star, then Sadie, Little John, and we are bored shall spreed. Tell us Wheeler that we shall go and what life that we shall lead. 12. Where we shall take, where we shall leve, where we shall abide behind, where we shall rob, where we shall rev, where we shall bet and bind. 13. Thereof no force, then Sadie Robyn, we shall do well inno. But loke ye do no husbande harm that tilleth with his plough. 14. No more ye shall no goad yeoman that walketh by green woad shaw. Nay no knight nay no squille that wall be a goad falave. 15. These bishops and these archbishops, ye shall them bet and bind. The high Sheryfe of Notyngham, hym hold ye in your mind. 16. This word shall be hold, Sadie Lytell Johan, and this lesson we shall lear. It is fair days. God send us a jest, that we were at our diner. 17. Take thy goad bowie, in thy Honda, Sadie Robyn, late much wendy with thee, and so shall William Scarlock, and no man abide with me. 18. And walk up to the Salies and so to Watlinge Stret, and wait after some uncouth jest, up chance ye may them meet. 19. Be he earl, or ani, baron, abbot, or ani knight, bring hym to lodge to me, his diner shall be dight. 20. They wenty up to the Salies, these yemen all three, they loked est, they loked west, they might no man see. 21. But as they loked in to Bernisdale, by a dern stret, then came a knight riding, full sown they gone hym meet. 22. All dreary was his semblance, and Lytell was his pride. His one fote in the styrop stowed, that other waved beside. 23. His hode hanged in his eyen too, he rode in simple array, a sorrier man than he was one rode never in summer day. 24. Lytell Johan was full courtise, and set hym on his kne. Welcome be ye, gentle knight, welcome are ye to me. 25. Welcome be thou to green woad, hendy knight and free. My maester hath abiden you fastinge, seer, all these hours 3. 26. Who is thy maester? Sadie the knight. John Sadie, Robyn Hode. He is a goad yeoman, Sadie the knight. Of hym I have heard mochi goad. 27. I grante, he Sadie, with you to Wendy, my brethren, all in fear. My purpose was to have dined today at Blyth or Dancastery. 28. Firth then went this gentle knight, with a careful share. The terrace oat of his eyen ran, and fell down by his lair. 29. They brought him to the lodge door. Wan Robyn gone hymc, full courteously dyd of his hode and set hym on his knee. 30. Welcome, Sir Knight, then Sadie Robyn, welcome art thou to me. I have abiden you fastinge, sir, all these hours 3. 31. Then answered the gentle knight, with words fair and free. God thee save, good Robyn, and all thy fair meyne. 32. They washed togader and wiped both, and set to their diner. Bread and wine they had right ena, and numbles of the deer. 33. Swans and pheasantées they had full goad, and fowls of the riveray. There failed none so little a birdie that ever was bred on briar. 34. Do gladly, Sir Knight, Sadie Robyn. Gramercy, Sir, Sadie he. Susha diner had I nat of all these weckies 3. 35. If I come agene, Robyn, hereby tice contra, as goad a diner I shall thee make as thou hast made to me. 36. Gramercy, Knight, Sadie Robyn. My diner wan that I it have, I was never so greedy, by dear worthy God, my diner for to crave. 37. But pay or ye Wendy, Sadie Robyn. Me thinketh it is goad right. It was never the mainer, by dear worthy God, a yeoman to pay for a night. 38. I have not in my coffers, Sadie the knight, that I may prefer for shame, Lytell Johan. Go loke, Sadie Robyn, nay let not for no blame. 39. Telephone me truth, then Sadie Robyn, so God have party of thee. I have no more but 10 shillinges, Sadie the knight, so God have party of me. 40. If thou have no more, Sadie Robyn, I wall nat 1 penny, and why if thou have need of any more shall I lend the 41. Go no furth, Lytell John, the truth tell thou me. If there be no more but 10 shillonges, no penny that I say. 42. Lytell John spread down huius mantel full fair upon the ground and there he fawned in the night's coffer but even half a pound 43. Lytell John let it lie full still, and went to huius maestier full low. What tidinges, John? Sadie Robyn. Sir, the night is true inno. 44. Phial of the best wine, Sadie Robyn, the night shall begin. Mochi wonder thinketh me thy clothing is so thin. 45. Tell me one word, Sadie Robyn, and counsel shall it be. I trow thou wert made a knight of force, or elles of yeomanry. 46. Or elles thou hast been a sorry husband and lived in stroke and strife, an ochre, or elles a lasure, Sadie Robyn, whyth wrong hast led thy life. 47. I am none of those, Sadie the night, by God that made me, an 100 winter here before mine aunt's trace nighties have be. 48. But oft it hath befall, Robyn, a man hath be disgreat, but God that sitteth in heaven above may amend his state. 49. Within this 2 year, Robyn, he Sadie, my nigburs well it know, 400 pound of gold money full well than might I spend 50. No have I no gold, Sadie the night, God hath shapen sushin. Enda, but my children and my wife, till God yt may amendy. 51. In what manner, then Sadie Robyn, hast thou lorn thy riches? For my great folly, he Sadie, and for my kindness. 52. I hate a son, forsooth, Robyn, that should have been mine heir, wane he was 20 winter old, in feldy wald just full fair. 53. He slew a knight of Lancashire, and a squire bold, for to save him in his right my goads beth set and sold 54. My Londa's beth set to wed, Robyn, until a certain day, to a reich abbot here, beside of Saint Mary Abbey. 55. What is the psalm? Sadie Robyn. Trouth and tell thou me. Sir, he Sadie, 400 pound the abbot told it to me. 56. No and thou les thy lond, Sadie Robyn, what shall fall of thee? Hastily I wall me busk, said the night, over the salt sea. 57. And say where Christe was kike and deedy, on the mount of Calvaire. Farewell, friende, and have good day. It may no better be. 58. Terrace fell out of huis ion 2. He walled have gone huis way. Farewell, friende, and have good day. I nay. Have no more to pay. 59. Where be thy friendes? Sadie Robyn. Seer, never one wall me know. While I was rychy no at home great boste than walled they blow. 60. And no they ran away fro me, as besties on a row. They take no more heed of me than they had me never sawe. 61. For Ruth than wept Lytell John, Scarlock and much in fear. Fill of the best wine, Sadie Robyn, for here is a simple share. 62. Hast thou any friende, Sadie Robyn, thy borrow that walled be? I have none, than Sadie the night, but God that died on tree. 63. Do away thy Japus, then Sadie Robyn, thereof wall I write none. Whenest thou I walled have God to Barrow, Peter, Poole, or John? 64. Nay, by hym that me made, and shope both Zana and Moan, find me a better Barrow, Sadie Robyn, or money gettest thou none. 65. I have none other, Sadie the night, the soth for to say, but yfyt be our dear lady. She failed me never or tice day. 66. By dear worthy God, Sadie Robyn, to sesh all Anglon thorough, yet fond I never to my pay a mochi better Barrow. 67. Come no furth, Lytell John, and go to my tresor, and bringe me 400 pound, and loke well told it be. 68. Firth then went Lytell Johan, and Scarlock went before. He told oat 400 pounds by 8 and 20 score. 69. Is Tice well told? Sadie Lytell. Much. John Sadie. What greveth thee? It is almost to help a gentle knight that is foul in povert. 70. Master, then Sadie Lytell Johan, his clothing is full thin. Ye must give the knight a livery, to lap his body therein. 71. For ye have scarlet and green, mayester, and many a rich array. There is no marchant in merry England so rich, I dare well say. 72. Take hym 3 yards of every colour, and loke well meet that it be. Lytell Johan took none other measure but his bowie tree. 73. And at every handful that he met he leapt foats 3. What deviles drapar, said Lytell much, thinkest thou for to be? 74. Scarlock stode full still and low, and said, by God Almight, John may give hym goad measure, for it costeth hym but light. 75. Mayester, then said Lytell Johan to gentle Robyn Hode, ye must give the knight a oar to lead home all this goad. 76. Take him a grey corsar, Sadie Robyn, and a saddle new. He is our lady's messenger. God grant that he be true. 77. And a goad palfrey, Sadie Lytell much, to maintain hym in his right, and a pair of boats, Sadie Scarlock, for he is a gentil knight. 78. What shalt thou give him, Lytell Johan? Sir, a pair of gilt spories clean, to pray for all this company. God bringe hym oat of Tenay. 79. Wan shall mi day be, said the knight, sir, and your will be? This day 12 moneth, Sadie Robyn, under this green woad tray. 80. It were great shame, said Robyn, a knight alone to ride, without squire, yeoman, or page, to walk by his side. 81. I shall thee lend Lytell Johan, my man, for he shall be thy knave, in a yeoman's stead he may thee stand, if thou great need have.